Hi, ladies and gents. I'm Kelvin. First of all, very pleased to be here and to spend the next couple of minutes with you all together, talking about corporate travel after crisis in China and how we may reset ourselves better for future. So first of all, we will take a look at the current corporate travel landscape in China, and then into the new realities and customer behaviors that have emerged from this pandemic. And lastly, three core pillars, namely technology, service model, cash or payment solutions that I think will contribute mostly to the transformation of corporate travel industry in China and beyond the pandemic. So the past 1.5 year will go down in history as unprecedented challenge time for the whole travel industry. So China was also locked down in early 2020, like many other countries in the world. However, thanks to the efficient control laid down by the Chinese government, the COVID-19 actually has been contained in China around April 2020. So based on our latest research, we found that domestic air travel volume has actually recovered to 95%, comparing to pre-COVID level, whereas international travel volume still remains around 5%, comparing to pre-COVID. There was a significant fare drop in 2020. However, up to now, we found the domestic airfare has recovered to around 85% of the pre-COVID level, whereas international flight fare are still multiple times higher comparing to pre-COVID. So in terms of land transportation, hotel, they have fully recovered or even exceeded the current, the pre-COVID level in terms of both price and volume. People have come back to working the office since May 2020. And even if when there were several rounds of new infections following, they have all been contained within 1 month's time, and most of the time with only lockdown on specific areas instead of a country level one. So in China, if you travel domestically, you will have a health QR code, and this code you have 3 color status, which are green, yellow, and red, corresponding to your travel routes to low, medium, and high risk areas. So as long as you don't pass by those medium and high risk areas, you will be fine with your code remaining green. Otherwise, you will have to go for a PCR test to reduce your chance of quarantine. So China has been leading the way of vaccination programs in Asia Pacific region. And by end of June, 40% of the population has been vaccinated. And so more and more cities start to ask you present your vaccination record when you are going to enter the city. So we've built the first travel bubble between China mainland and China Macau early this year. And the Chinese authority is still exploring more travel bubbles in the region, and most likely China Hong Kong will be the next batch, given the focus on development of Great Bay Area, and also Singapore could be highly possible because of also the high vaccination ratio there. So what's the new realities and customer behaviors evolved from this pandemic? There are a lot of discussions around whether corporate travel will fully rebound after a year of Zoom call or conference video. Based on our recent research across clients in a broad range of industry, 70% indicated they think video conference actually suffices for most part of their work. On the flip side, 60% of the participants also listed some exemptions where they think video conference doesn't work that well. For example, extended training program or external meetings with client or like a sales pitch. So we found more and more companies start to adopt a hybrid working model where key participants in the same area or city still join on site and the other participants can still join remotely. We've seen an uptake of domestic travel with driving or rail to nearby cities. Especially when flying is not only option, because people generally think land transportation is safer comparing to flights, as airports can still have new cases from time to time, especially for those inbound cases. Of course, there's a huge evolution of corporate travel policy during this pandemic period. Typical example is you will have more layers of approval or strict criteria when by allowing travel only for essential and external meetings. And the travelers will need more consultancy before each trip. They need to know clearly the quarantine policies in each destination that they are going to travel. More attentions have also been paid to traveler safety and well-being, as well as the sustainability, like carbon emission offset programs, which I can elaborate more when we are talking about how technology can support those initiatives. So keep in mind the corporate travel landscape and the new norm we just talked about in China. What will be the key pillars to help with the successful transformation of the industry in China? I think, simply speaking, three elements here: technology, service model, payment solutions. So we all know, even before this COVID-19 break, China has been on the forefront of digitalization thanks to its boost of e-commerce industry in the past decade. And this COVID-19 thing has just driven further the digitalization into corporate travel area, when we find more and more clients start to ask for like flexible and agile solutions. So, for example, people will need one-stop and seamless experience across multiple devices, with a focus specifically on mobile platform user experiences, always available assistance, be it a chat robot or instant interaction with travel consultants whenever there's a complex issue that are not able to be handled by self-service on OBT, and when they need a quick shift from online to offline processes to get urgent support. AI-powered reporting savings can help travel manager to type in and just to play with any kind of ad hoc report that they may need during the post-pandemic era. And also for traveler safety and well-being, like we just talked about, the travel managers may need a single dashboard where they can track all travelers' routes simply, and also they can send notifications by one click whenever it is needed. Sustainability module is also critical because they can link travelers' data to carbon emission data, which is critical to help a lot of companies to fulfill their CSR duty. And last but not least, flexibility and extendability. I would say this is very China-centric in the recent years. What does that mean? That means you need to make a TMC system as open as possible so that it can integrate easily with clients' expense management system, HR system, or OA system, etc., so that you become a part of your client's ecosystem, and so that you can help your clients to drive their overall digitalization progress. So while innovation of tech can free up a lot of consultants' capacity, we still find our travel consultants are badly needed, or even more needed than ever in this post-pandemic timing, because travelers will need more consultancy from travel consultants, especially on complex itineraries. And that makes us believe kind of dedicated service model, personalized service model will adapt better to the changes comparing to the traditional call center model, because travelers may not want to tell the same story again, and they don't want to contact different teams for a land and air combined booking. What they want is a single contact point with an experienced consultant that they can trust, and especially by the moment when the borders reopen and people start walking into this complex post-COVID world. But however, there are a lot of players in the market that come with dedicated service model, while others are with traditional call center model. But we've seen even for those with call center models, they have shift more effort in making greater their VIP service team offer. So what really matters here is to leave behind one size fit everything model, and really think about how you can place the right people with right skills in the right place, and to hyper care the travelers. So on top of tech and the service model, I think as a corporate travel business, you need to be financially strong so that you can secure your stability of operation because the bankruptcy of travel agency throughout this pandemic is not unusual. And it will be scary for any company to lose their travel partner overnight. However, we have to admit TMC's core business model is still with provision of service instead of banking. So that makes us believe payment solutions like UATP, prepaid land products, as well as an omni-channel online payment portal is really an important component here to strike balance because it can take away the pressure of working capital from TMCs while also add value to corporate travel program by streamlining the internal process of providing enhanced and real-time data instead of having the client to wait for monthly statements for reconciliation. So time flies and comes the end of my presentation. I hope all of us can come out of this pandemic storm safe and stronger. And thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed the session and find it helpful. See you later.